How's it? How are you?
Good yourself.
I'm fantastic, thank you. I always say if the sun's shining in Cape Town, it's a good day. So it's a good day. Today it was not
Hello.
raining in Cape Town, it's a good day. How's it, William?
No,
How's it? How's it?
nice.
How's it, early bird? And you thought,
So this guy, I don't know because he had hold of my computer. So I couldn't let everybody sign in.
listen, I want to ask you something, but before we kick off, with all the stuff you do, can you design LinkedIn banners?
Are you
Okay.
talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Of
Because
course.
that's we're going to talk about that today. So for those that are graphically challenged, they might need an outlet.
I have that definitely. But
So
I do it. But Christelle, we're
all
gonna
right.
go.
Okay, then. Okay, well, good. Christelle will be the banner, the appointed banner lady then. there you go. How's
Hi.
it, Mimi? How's it?
I
James.
use
Sorry.
Okay,
no problem.
all good. I know there are a couple of folks that have told me they're not coming. I'm not sure. What are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There should be a couple still. Let's just give it a moment or two, and then we shall see. So the small groups actually give us quite a lot of time to do a little bit of interaction, which is quite cool.
Oh, you guys.
There we go. How's it?
Morning. Good morning. Good
Oh
afternoon.
my goodness, that's been a long day, hey? You're still on good morning. That's kind of cool. Okay, while I'm pulling this move, all right. So Darwin is leading the way. If you guys want to put your details in the chat for each other, go right ahead and do that. While you do that, let me upload this week's dockies for you. So I'm uploading the PDF, which you guys can download. So what I'm trying to do now with the PDFs is just to basically mimic the slides. So I'm giving you all the slides plus the bit that you've got to fill in. I think that's probably the easiest. Then you've got a complete record of everything rather than just giving you the stuff you've got to do. And then hopefully you all got the message that I sent you, the email. If you didn't, let me just give you the link here. I just created a page which I'll just update after every session. I'll put the link into the chat in case some of you didn't get it. So the replay of our session, I'll put that in there, and the slides and things. So you guys have got access to that. All right. I think we should get going. So let me close this. Let me actually 1 second. Let's move us over to that side. I just want to hit record here on Zoom as well. Put that in the cloud. That's fine.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you. All right. So, yeah, welcome to today. Hopefully, I managed to get you all the stuff you needed on time for homework. Sorry for you if I didn't get it through to you guys on time. Last week was a little bit crazy, so it's a big weekend thing. And as I say, I've just built it into the page, which we'll just keep updating. So if there's some reason you've missed something, or you just want to, like, at the end, print them all out and have all of the details for future reference, that's cool. So today we're going to talk about profile picture and banner, and there's a little bit more to that than you might think, but we'll get into that in a minute. So just to do a quick recap, first week we spoke about picking your niche, right? So that group of people with that particular set of characteristics, that your product or service is going to be ideal to solve. And we gave you a couple of examples of using external. So we said, looking at tangible things, right? Like industry, job title, like how other demographics, like how long have they been in business, how many employees do they have, and that sort of thing. That makes it really easy, particularly a little bit later on in this process when we actually get onto LinkedIn. Then we spoke about internal, which is really your skill set. So, you know, what's your superpower within what it is that you do. And then we have look existing clients because they leave clues. And our best existing clients, and we're saying, okay, well, why are they our best clients? And then we take those clues and we try to duplicate that. Then taking all of this information, hopefully you guys have come up with a bit of a definition who your niche / ideal client is, just so that you have that clarity and focus. And then last week, what we looked at was creating the magic method. And, you know, with people's short attention spans, when they get onto your profile and they read your headline, it's really got to speak to them and let them know what it is that you do. Now, honestly, there's a lot of ways to do it. I'm just giving you a way. If you don't like this way, you can certainly change it. But I like the idea of asking questions, because the human mind has a real problem with open loops. It has to answer a question. And if you ask the question and the human mind says yes, then they are almost forced to read the rest of the profile, which is what we want. And so we spoke about the question being, if I could give you a result, I know you 100% really want. And that really boils down to the biggest problem that you solve for people. If we can add a timeline, not all of us will be able to, but if we can, that's really useful. And the shorter the timeline, the better. So if we can add that timeline in, and then if we can remove an objection, this is also quite cool that we can do that right in our message. That generally puts us in good shape. So this is kind of where we're at for now. So what I want to do, just working on to bring this, let's pop you guys all back here. So let's, hopefully you guys have had a chance to do this. So far we go around the table. Christelle, you're going to be first on my screen. So you're up. Tell us what your magic message is.
Let me just open it up quickly. Sorry, 2 seconds. So if I could give you up to 12 hours back and save you money every single month by handling administrative, full PA, content and social media management tasks, would you be interested?
I think that's pretty cool, right? There's no
Very
ambiguity
simple.
there.
Yeah.
There's no ambiguity. You know exactly what you're getting. Like, if you need it, that's very clear. I love the message. I think it's great.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, William.
Oh, Jimmy, I struggled a bit with this one, like, but I'll give you what I wrote. So, I mean, if I could give you an opportunity to grow your wealth while hedging against South Africa's economy over your lifetime with full transparency, would you be interested? You know, and like it's a bit vague, like that is what I'm doing. You know,
It's vaguish, but you're getting there. You're definitely on the right track. So, like, what you're wanting to think about is, like, you know, what's the big problem that you solve? So the first part might be just a little bit, as you say, intangible. Like the bit where you're starting to talk about people being worried about, like, the economy and what the government is getting up to. That's pretty cool, right? Because that's definitely a pain point. So you're hitting on something like really, really valuable there. So maybe all you've got to do is just tighten it up and just come up with something that's a lot more direct. So when you sort of think about maybe the last 5 clients that you've dealt with, and think, well, why did they come to you? Was there something specific that you solved, you know, rather than just talking about wealth in general? Because remember, what you guys are trying to do with this, right, is this is a foot in the door approach. This doesn't define you. This doesn't define your business and your offer. It just gives people an opportunity to say, you know what? Yeah, I think I see some value. It's worth me accepting this connection request. And then a little bit later on, when you start to engage, hopefully they'll say, actually, y'all, can we have a meeting? I think there's actually potential that you can help me. So you're definitely on the right track. So it's got something to do with growing of the wealth. You know, it might be where you sort of put a guarantee in, you know, or it might be that, listen, I can invest offshore, but you can still have access offshore when you need it. You know, it might be something along those lines.
Yeah.
Which
For
which
sure.
is
I mean,
kind of what.
like unfortunately, I can't give any guarantees. You know, I mean, I can't choose how the markets react. But I mean, I can say, you know, like the way I invest your money is fully liquid. It is fully accessible whenever you need it. It may be sitting in the Isle of Man, but
Yeah.
if you need to bring it back, you can.
So
you
that
know?
would be a concern, right? That so that would be one of those things. Might be an objection. Yeah, but like, what if I invest my money and I need it? Yeah, but you can have it. So now you get the best of both worlds, dude. You get you get the exchange rate working for you, and if poo hits the fan, you can bring it back. So you're starting to pull those elements together. You're very close. You're not a million miles away. And in fact, if you had the message that you've got, just read it again.
So the one I just said is, if I could give you an opportunity to grow your wealth while hedging against South Africa's economy over your lifetime with full transparency, would you be interested?
Yeah. See, even if you put that's way better than most of your competitors. If you think about it, but I think you can do a little bit better. So just apply your mind and see if you can bring in something that's just a little bit more tangible,
But
tighter, where people can see the result. Because what people often do with this process is they're trying to make that ROI decision, that return on investment decision. Like, is it worth it? And so when you're speaking to people with your message, when we talk about this result, the result needs to speak to them individually. You know, so if the result and in the way that you speak to them makes sense to them, that they can assess, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. In my world, that makes perfect sense. That's the result that I want. If you can get it down to that level, then you've really hit the nail on the head. You know, people understand that and they're good to go.
I feel like my results are like a bit scammy, you know, and opportunity to grow your wealth. You got an uncle in Nigeria with some money for you.
No, it's not spammy at all. I think it just needs a little bit of tightening up, because we see where you're going with that. So just apply your mind to that. Honestly, think of your last 5 clients. Just think about why they came to you, and think about the issues that they're having. Like, what's that big thing? Like, you've clearly already identified that people are like a little bit skitsy in terms of what's going on in the economy and would love to put money offshore. So that's in your message already. It just needs a little bit of focus, and you know what's the next step. But as I say, even if you just went with that, you're still in the right place. But we'll talk more about that. But yeah, well done.
Cool.
It's a good effort. Yvonne, after you put your microphone on, then you can tell us.
Yeah, so it's very super short, but because it's very the pain point is an issue for me. But one of the biggest things I play on is the school fees thing. So I said, if I could help you save on the school fees for starting your affiliate program, would you be interested in discussing your ideas? Not there.
I'm just trying to see how to mute everybody. Hang on. Why can I not find? Hang on, let's try this. Okay, sorry, I got to do this individually. Sorry. No, it's not quite there. I think it's a little bit. It's a little bit vague. I think you can again probably raise the level of that a little bit. So remember, you've got 220 characters. So you've got a little bit more that you can say. I think you can add more benefit also to affiliate program, because like your message assumes also that they know exactly what an affiliate program is, and that's what they want, which is not true. A lot of people don't know that. It's as you were telling me the other day when we had a bit of a chat. It's like, you know, you take something that is generally just broad and messy, where a lot of people are just saying, well, we do digital marketing, which is very hard for people to in their heads work an ROI around. You've taken that and you've bundled it into something tangible. So that's exactly what you've done. Is you've taken this big wad of stuff and you've said, no, we're going to package this into this one tangible result that you can understand and that can drive, and is very easy to measure. So if you can try to bring that part of the message into it, then I think you're in good shape. Let's read it again.
If I could save this, if I could help you save on school fees for setting up your affiliate program, would you be interested in discussing your ideas? Because most of my clients come to me with an idea.
I think if you could just
I have an idea.
I think if you could just include a benefit statement for having an affiliate program, I think you'll be there. Because I like the school fees thing. That talks to people, and that's how we speak. You know, I pay school fees. So and that's like I always like to speak like real people. You know.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the marketing stuff, and we're marketers, so we can laugh at this way, the way we write. It's like it's becoming more and more important to be real, you know, with AI and ChatGPT and that. It's almost worth like creating a video where you almost intentionally make a mistake, and the person says, "Yeah, that's a real person." It's weird, but that's kind of where we're going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool.
I'll work on it.
All right, thanks. All good. Leslie? Is Leslie there? Are you there, Les? All right, we will assume toilet break. Inga, you're next. You weren't expecting that, but here we go.
Right?
Yeah.
Was I?
Yeah, what?
Was I? Okay. So mine okay, so mine is, if I could offer you an opportunity to invest in a tangible asset with immediate positive returns, would you be brave enough to have a 10-minute conversation to learn more?
Oh, I love that. I think that's quite cool. Would you, and I'm asking, I don't know, because obviously I know a little bit about your asset. Would you mention property, or are you purposefully leaving it a little bit open?
I'm purposefully leaving it a little bit open.
Okay. So I think again,
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm leaving it purposefully open, but I think that there's value in going. You don't always want to punt the property. Do you know what I mean? You want to kind of have a conversation. I just kind of like, you know, you've got these things that go on in your mind. Are you wanting to refer to maybe somebody's specifically looking for property, and maybe that will be a tagline to pull them in, maybe?
No, it's just like your tagline's cool, and there's a little bit of a challenge there, which I quite like. So I kind of like the call to action. You know, where you've changed it. Would you be brave enough? It's a little bit of a challenge. But sometimes people want to know what it's about, and depending in the context. So as you'll see a little bit later on, so maybe leave it like this and consider if you want to tweak it later when you're a bit further down the process, because what's going to happen is that a lot of this preparatory work that we're doing now, right, this is really going to put us in a position that later on, when it comes time for us to start reaching out to the people that are going to see this message, remember, we get to handpick those people. So if you're handpicking those people and they know it's about property, then you might as well tell them, instead of like, because then they might make a decision and say, well, no, I don't really care. I'm a property guy. I don't know. This is too clever, too whatever. So play with it. But I kind of like it. I think it sometimes, depending on circumstance, it could be quite good just to. I don't want to see vague's not the right word. Just to have that little bit of mystique about it, so it's not absolutely crystal clear. Because funny enough, as humans, that's one of the things that we respond to, is we don't really know, and we have to know, right? Open loops. That's a little bit of that kind of thing.
I like how you use the word brave as well.
Yeah, that's quite cool. It's like, but I don't know that everyone would appreciate that. Like, so in fairness,
sure.
I think William, myself, Inga, and probably most of you on this call get that. But I suppose your clients would get that, which is what's important. Like, if somebody's not your client, frowns upon it, like, who cares? Like, we only care about our peeps. We don't care about anybody else. So yeah, I do. I like that. I like the brave as well. All right, cool. Thanks, Inga. Maury?
Okay, mine is if I could show you a way to completely streamline your company's finances, would you be interested?
That's very broad, eh? I don't know what your offer is when you're saying that. So when you talk about streamlining finance, it could be anything, right? It could be an accounting system. It could be working capital management. It could be saving. It could be anything. So I still don't know what you do. I mean, I do. I'm talking about your message now. I don't know what you do. I'm not quite sure what it is that you're offering me. So I think you need to be a little bit more specific. So think very specifically, right? Don't be afraid to just call it as it is. Like, call out exactly what the freaking heck you do, because that's what people want to see. Because you got to remember, like, when people come to your LinkedIn profile, and they're typically going to get there from one of two ways, right? One is we're going to send them connection requests, or maybe they're doing a search. Like, people have been put into this mindset where they're trying to make such a quick decision. Like, I reckon that they make a decision on your profile probably within a second, literally 1 second. That's what we've got for them to think, is this the right profile for me? Am I staying? Am I going to look at the rest, or am I bouncing away? So you almost have to let them know immediately. So you don't really want there to be confusion. So
Okay.
you know, if it's accounting that you're doing, maybe that's all you have to add in, right? Just read it again.
If I could show you a way to completely streamline your company's finances, would you be interested?
So when you're talking about streamlining the finances, why don't you say, if I can take that burden away from you, by handling your bookkeeping or putting you into the cloud or something along those lines, so that they know exactly what they're getting. So
Okay, just
you always want to, the more specific you can be, the better, right? So imagine that somebody in this room wants to refer you somewhere and is trying to refer you off that message. It's difficult for them. But this is part of this, right? It's firstly to build our authority, but to allow everybody else to confidently know what it is that you do, so that if we now happen to find somebody else who we know you can service, we know that in an instant, because we know exactly what you do. And we say, oh, okay, right, yeah, speak to her. Okay. So just think a little bit more about that, and be a little bit more specific about exactly what you do. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Andre, how's it? This is going to be interesting. You got lots on your mind, eh? Let's see.
Yeah. I hope you're going to give me some help here.
Well, start and I'll help you along.
I said, if I could give you an improved decision-making process and show you how to generate more revenue and improve your work and personal relationships by eliminating your past mistakes within 1 month, would you be interested?
Again, I don't think people know what you do. So, yeah, but how? It's like, what mistakes? I'm still a little confused. So
I don't know how to put that.
we'll work it out at another time. I mean, you might be talking to you might change that message to specifically to senior management, for example, which would make a lot of sense. And bring some of that cognitive stuff in, so they don't have to know. You don't have to do the technical stuff, but if you kind of let them know that there's a there's a sorry, I'm looking for, there's a tangible, repeatable process that you just don't know. When I teach it to you, like it suddenly brings the whole team together, something along those lines, so that a decision maker can look at that and understand a little bit more about what it is exactly that they're getting, because the benefit is there. You've got that piece. It's just like, I'm not quite sure what you're selling me.
It's so difficult to do it in a few words, because I mean, the process is about understanding the fact that your subconscious is making your decisions, and you need to understand that and change that.
There, you just said it. Say that.
Okay.
Say that. Exactly. Like, it's not as complicated as we like to think it is. Just say that. It's perfect.
Okay.
Because now they're getting it. Yeah. If you said that and then you kept the benefit part of the statement, I think you're kicking it.
Great, thanks.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was easy. Marion, let's see. Give me another challenge. How's it? Marion, you're still on mute.
Okay, there we go. Hi.
Yeah, how's it?
Okay, if I could give you the inner confidence to be as comfortable and confident on video as chatting to a friend over coffee in 5 weeks, instead of feeling anxious, self-conscious, and nervous that you'll forget what you want to say, would you be interested?
Brilliant. There's nothing we don't understand about that. If you're the person that's a little anxious, that message is speaking directly to you. Love it. Anyone have comments? I think that's a great message.
I think it's perfect. She's also going in like rules of 3, XYZ, confidence, anxious, XYZ. I thought it was great.
It's a lovely message. Well done, Marion.
Thank
You're
you.
top of the
I'm
class
glad.
today. Lumi, I'm going to skip you for a bit because I know that you, I don't think you had the benefit of seeing this. So if you need a bit of thinking time, we'll skip you. I'll come back to you at the end. So, Finita, you're up.
So I got, if I could give you, it's very vague, more cash, more profits, less stress, and more sleep, would you be interested? So you see, with accounting, it's hard because, like, what do you talk about?
So
Because
they have to know you're
you
an accountant. But,
right.
but like honestly, with accountants, what are they, right? As accountants, they want cash flow and they want compliance. Like honestly, as an accountant, if you come up with a cash flow or a compliance message, you can't go wrong. You just got to give them a little bit more insight in terms of what it is that you do and how you can help them. So that message could have applied to quite a few of us technically on, you know, if we were creating that message. So, but being your message, you need to bring it back to the skill set that you have, so that there's no real confusion, that they know that they're looking for an accountant, and that's you. Read it again.
If I could give you more cash, more profits, less stress, and more sleep, would you be interested?
Yeah.
Maybe
so
I need to bring in the accounting part at the end, the accounting and compliance.
So it's fine. You do that how? Yeah, you know, by taking the admin burden off you and you know, sorting out your compliance, something along those lines. If you start to bring that in, because you know those, then you've hit everything. You've hit compliance, you've hit cash flow, you've hit sleep well, all those good things. And 220 characters is quite a bit, to be honest. So you close. Just add a couple of those things in. So I hope you guys are all seeing. It's very important that when somebody gets to the message and they take it in, that they know exactly what it is that you do, right? Who are you, right? So what is it that you're doing, and then what's the big problem that you're solving? That's the thing that they want. If you can get that across and say that as simply as possible, which I know is not easy. I have to tell you, you guys have done an amazing job today so far. This has been quite a revelation, because this stuff's generally not the easiest stuff in the world to do. So I'm very impressed with what you guys have produced so far.
So James, like, you know, with my services, I do the compliance and the bookkeeping, but I also do like the additional stuff, like the cash flow and the growth stuff, you know. So would you suggest like focusing just on one part of the services that you offer, or because it's difficult to just like, you know, like which one do you focus on?
So to answer your question, which is probably a question everybody has to some degree, remember again, right? Context of what's going on here is that you've got a very short attention span to grab their attention, and actually all we are trying to do at this very early stage is just to get them to say yes to our connection request. Like, that's the beginning. If we can crack that piece, right, then that takes us completely to another level. And so you wanting to put your best foot forward, and sometimes you can't say everything you want to say. Sometimes you just have to accept that. Sometimes you just got to look at it and say, what's the thing? So think of it this way, right? Remember we said in our first session, we're going to send 100 connection requests a week, right? So think of it this way. If you send 100 connection requests to your perfect ideal client, what is the message that they have to see so that the vast majority, the most people that it's possible to accept that connection request are going to resonate with that message? That's the message you're trying to get. You're trying to get as many people into the ring as possible right off the bat. And so if you in that situation where you've got to choose between one or two or three things, pick the one that hurts the most, the one that's going to resonate with the most people. That's the one you want to put in there. Because it's not everything you do. It's, remember, we've got to put a lot of that other stuff on the rest of your profile. This is just to get the foot in the door and to get them to talk to you.
Because if I put in cash flow, because that just sounds like I only do cash flow, you know, and I don't do like compliance and bookkeeping and all the other things.
But that's why we said you got to put that in. Leave the cash flow in, because cash flows is something everybody wants. But bring in something. Generally, it's cash flow or compliance. When people are going to accounts, they're really looking for compliance. Really, more than cash flow, right? It's because the poo has hit the fan and SARS is dancing around, and now something needs to happen. So if you address that issue, you'll find you'll be in a good space.
Okay, thanks.
All right, cool. All right. Who's next? Leslie, are you back? We missed you. Yeah.
Yes, I am back. Thank you.
All right.
I'm not in too good a space. I had a big fall at the gym this morning, so I'm not feeling the greatest.
Sorry to hear that.
Okay, it's fine. So what I thought of doing is to say, would you allow me to draw up a will for you, your last will and testament for free? Put a plan in place to also take care of some costs in your estate for free. Would you be interested?
So, sorry, what in your estate?
Last will and testament.
So, sorry, just read the whole thing again.
Would you like me to prepare your last will and testament for you and also put a plan in place to take care of some of the costs in your estate, which will also be for free?
Nice. It's a hell of an offer. It's
so what's been happening, James, is Sanlam has amalgamated with Capital Legacy. And Capital Legacy, they put these various plans that you can select, but there's a basic plan that's free of charge where you don't pay a monthly premium. It's free of medical underwriting, and it will take care of the executors' fees, the conveyancing fees, the master's fees in your estate. And that plan is for free.
Okay. So
the problem I have with that, and that's where I need your assistance, some younger professionals, they don't have an estate yet. They don't own properties yet. So I don't want to, so I need assistance, because obviously I don't want to lose out on connecting with young professional clients, not just the older ones or the more established ones.
Then you must change the message. So the whole point of us starting off with your niche was that you know who that person is. So if you've decided that that's the young professional, then your objection or your apprehension is quite valid in the space. So you've got to think about that. Obviously, the way around it is that when you're working on LinkedIn and you're doing the outreach, you skip them and you deal with the people that it's likely to affect. That's very easy to do. So it's horses for courses, but yes, there's definitely a disconnect with the younger professionals. That would not perhaps be the best message for you to put out. But
I also thought of maybe sending something to, if I see it's a more established prospect, I could use that approach, and then I've just got to think about something to draw in the younger professional. Because obviously people that are established, I would like to use that or something to that effect, because those are the people that could have the estate duty implications in their estate.
Yes, 100%. But what I'm saying to you is you need to be clear. It's very difficult to talk to two different groups of people.
Okay.
That's why we start with who do you want to speak to. That's very important. Who do you want to speak to? What's the big problem you solve for them? Here's how you solve it. That's been the flow of how we got to today. Okay. So like you don't want to confuse it. If you're going with the wills thing, it's the older folks, because the youngsters, like, they shrug their shoulders. It's like, what are you talking about? I need a will, man. Come on. Okay, it never happened to me. I've got hundreds of years to go still. That's just how they are. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, cool. Monteverco, I'll give you also a little bit more time because I know you weren't here. Dylan, how about you?
Okay. I wrote up my magic message, and then I was speaking to a friend over the weekend who said there was a lacking in one particular. When ambulances, she works in a roadside assistance program, and there's often time when ambulances, the small businesses, they invoice the client or the service provider, but they don't do it properly and don't get payment for it. So I've kind of got my general one for general small service businesses, and then I honed in a second one specifically for small business paramedics. So I don't know which one you want to hear.
Firstly, before you tell me what they are, one of the key questions, and sort of putting the cart before the horse, one of the key questions that you've got to decide is how big is that market? So if the paramedics market is not a big market, then I would go with the other one, because
I was surprised because just in Gauteng alone, there's over 160 paramedics in there. So it will be a small part of my, of my niche, but yeah, I just marketed something directly to them.
Yeah, I wouldn't include that in your magic message.
Okay.
There's a place for that, and I'll show you a little bit later on. So we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'm just trying to I'm always just trying to give you the best opportunity for success, right? So we're always stacking the deck in our favor, and we need to have a market size that's big enough so that, that 3 weeks in we're not saying, oh my goodness, we've run out of leads. Like, we should never run out of leads on LinkedIn, right? Like there's 3 people that join every week, every second, I beg your pardon. So like there's always new people. So we just choose from. So give us the general one. Let's see what.
Okay. If I could help your small service business gain full financial control with QuickBooks Online, providing clear audit-ready accounts in just 3 months, while taking away the hassle of setting up a compliant chart of accounts yourself, would you be interested?
No, again, quite
it's
clear.
A little bit long-winded at the moment. I think I need to still try and reduce it.
220 characters is your limit. That sounds like it might be just a wee bit over. An interesting decision you made there was to call out books. And I think you did that because that's what you're doing. You're not really using the other packages, are you?
No, I'm only on.
Okay, so then in that case, it probably is a good decision because like if people are in that, they're in. That being said, right, a lot of people will go into the cloud that are not in the cloud. Like there's still conversions happening every day, and typically they don't care, honestly, what the package is.
Yes.
Right, because it's your problem. You're the one who just made the offer. Right? It's your problem. So sometimes it's a little bit cost dependent. I know zero sometimes is a bit of an issue with some people, but as a rule, if your accountant or your bookkeeper comes to you, and I'm being very general now, and says, listen, you need to be in the cloud, I suggest X, they'll say, okay. If price on that is not completely out of the realm. So I don't see that would necessarily harm you.
Okay.
But you might also be able to convert somebody who's not on QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's you're being a little restrictive one way or another. So you might take the QuickBooks bit out, or you leave it in. That's a decision you have to make.
Okay, because I'm looking mainly for the one-man show is doing everything by spreadsheets and papers and stuff like that. He's like my niche.
Then
he doesn't know QuickBooks or anything.
He doesn't care about QuickBooks. He just needs to know you're going to mop up all that nonsense behind him so he doesn't have to do it. And he'll click a button, it'll be on his phone. That's what he needs to know.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you're close there. So just think of how you want to tweak it. You see how all of this stuff is fitting together, right?
Yes.
Like niche, what's the big problem we solve? And now it's getting practical. It's like, okay, does that message make sense? So this is kind of cool that everybody's got a little bit of a different take on it. So everybody's learning from that process, which is great. All right, awesome. Well done.
Okay.
And Peter, I don't know if you were with us last week, so but anyway. Peter, are you there?
I am just on the road, but I have been listening to exercise. And
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't last week, but I think I have an idea. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
So here's my goal. So how would you like to set up yourself for a financially secure future by guarding yourself against risk and saving money for what's important and what you'd like to have while you're still young?
Very general. So there's a lot of interesting ideas in there, but it's all over the show. Like you might be trying to go for a little bit too much, and instead of being as general as you are, if you can narrow it a little bit, so that you can. It's almost like if you can give an example, because that's how people are. It's like, well, does that apply to me? How does that apply to me? What does that mean? Like, this is the crap that goes on in people's heads when they read this. So the core message is good, but you might want to just be a little bit more specific with it. Just give that a little bit of thought. And I like the fact that you're calling out the youngsters. So you've obviously thought about niche. So there's a tie back there. And yeah, it's kind of just a case of how do you make this real for them, that they say, yeah, actually I need that. Because it's a little bit general at the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, making a lot of sense.
Right. As you are driving, I'm going to leave you there. I don't want you crashing the car. We'll circle back to that a little bit later. Okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much, Althea.
Hi. Is my camera on?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So, okay, mine is also a little bit all over the place. I found a nice description, but then I decided to go with this one. If I can help you find ways to save money whilst ensuring that we offer your business overall value, and if we could discuss alternative ways of financing some of your assets, would you please give me 20 minutes?
Read that again.
If I can help you find ways to save money whilst ensuring that we offer your business overall value, and if we could discuss alternative ways of financing some of your assets, would you please give me 20 minutes?
I'm very confused with that message. There's there's two different parts to it. The first bit didn't really make a lot of sense because I don't know how or what you're doing.
Yeah.
The second bit's a little bit more tangible, but there's two very different ideas in it. Don't put two ideas. Make one idea. Otherwise, you confuse people. Yeah, I think you just need to pick one sort of central theme. And again, I'm not quite sure what you're offering me. So
yeah, I wanted to try and like incorporate the citizenship by investment plus real estate and financial planning, because those things kind of tying together.
So incorporate it then. Don't. This is not the time to be clever. The magic message is not for clever. The magic message is, this is what I do. Okay, I get it within a second. I'm in or I'm out. That's its job.
Okay, so then that would have been the one where it just straight up says, I'm a business development manager with over a decade of experience in real estate and corporate services and wealth planning. Expertise spans South African international property and investments, guiding individuals and businesses through complex real estate transactions.
So go and take that and put it into ChatGPT and say, in 220 characters or less, write me a message.
Okay, 100%.
Because it's too long. There's too much going on there. So take the structure I gave you. Right?
Yeah.
If I could give you, and then use my example, and then say, ChatGPT, you are me, and then explain what it is that you do. And then you say, I want you to write a message with this template, and he has an example, and then you say, use these facts, and you can dump any stuff in there. ChatGPT is really awesome at taking that and creating a message. You will be amazed that ChatGPT is brilliant at this stuff. Okay, but you have to do the thinking. Okay, so just do that, and then we'll take a closer look at that on another occasion.
Okay, 100%.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Cool. Thank you, editor. How's it?
Yeah, hello, James, and hello, everyone. How is it? Yeah. I was actually thinking about to prepare the message. Should I prepare one or a couple of them? Because, you know, there is one immigration, but yeah, I decided that on LinkedIn, I would like to go more as a business broker. That's why I prepare for the business broker. However, just like, you know, for the practice, I prepare one also for immigration as well, just like to practice. And because I must say this exercise is very good, just like to put like in one bucket, a lot of thoughts and just to, how to say, to organize what we're doing in the head, yeah, just for us to move like in a quick way to the future. So my thing is, it's actually pretty easy to write this one. If I can help you to find the right buyer, the best value for your business, would you be ready to list your business for sale with me? This is actually the quickest thing, but there is also another thing, because there was like this pains and gains and so on. It's also if I can like this, if I can help you find the right qualified buyer and close the sale of your business within the next 90 days, would you be ready to list your business for sale with me? There's another.
That's a much better message than the first one, because it's a lot more specific and you're dealing with the pain points. It's like, because that's the stuff that's giving them sleepless nights. What does any person want when they're selling their business, right? They want a sale that's not going to fall through. They want a qualified buyer.
Sorry, something just broke in internet.
What does anyone who's selling a business want? Can you hear us? Hello? Can everyone else hear me or not?
Oh my word.
Okay. Editor, don't know what's happening with you. I'm gonna let me just pop them in the chat here. Yeah, I'm just gonna mute her because obviously we've got a bit of an issue there. I think she's frozen. All right, we'll come back to editor in just a bit. Who do we still have to do? Editor, are you back? Okay. Sorry, you froze obviously there.
So yeah, I prepared also another one. If I could show you how to prepare your business for sale to achieve 20% more on the sales price within the next 6 months, would you be interested for me to help you with the future sale of your business?
They all work to some degree, and you might be able to take a couple of those ideas and combine them. So you got to think what is it that the buyer wants? Huh?
Yeah, that's the point. It just depends on the buyer.
Sorry, the seller. Well, I don't know. I suppose it depends who you're acting for, right? So you might have to be careful, because if you prejudice one party over the other, that causes you a bit of an issue. But if you need the stock to sell, you're working for the seller. That's the reality, right? Buyer's the guy you got to find, but the seller's actually your client. So you need businesses to list. So you should probably be more seller focused than buyer focused. What does a seller want? I want a qualified buyer and get as much as I freaking can, and I want to do this as quickly as possible, and I want it to be a sure thing. So grab all that stuff, put it all into one message, and you've got a killer message.
Okay, but do I have to give like a limited time, like because you know, for me the most important is the price and not the time. But for some people, time is more important than whatever. That's why like needs of every seller are different.
Just you have to make you've got to make one big decision, right? You can't be all things to everybody. You're trying to get your foot in the door. So do the best you can, and if you can cover both, cover both. It's like half the people will resonate to the one half of the message, to the other half you resonate with everybody. That's your job. You need as many of those 100 people a week to say yes. So whatever you need to put in the message, that's what you're going to put in there. All right.
And you suggest, because maybe I just missed that from the beginning, is it something that we should put on LinkedIn as a message, like a first sentence of our description?
Yeah, it's going to be your headline. That's what this is.
Okay.
So it's critical. All right, editor, I need to move. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck for time. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Let's see who's there. Thandaza, you're up. I hope. Thandaza, you there? Okay. Now let's see. Let's try you.
Hey, you know what?
You made it.
I couldn't unmute myself. Sorry about that, James.
Well,
Look,
good.
I've been listening to the the cash line in terms of, but honestly, I was not here last week, so I'm trying to, to make sense exactly what was asked and all those things. So yeah.
Okay, so if you let me just put this in the chat again, in case it's not there. For those of you that missed all the fun of the fair last week, in the chat, if I can find my chat, I'm going to put a link.
All right.
Which is to a page that I made where I'm going to put the replays to everything and all the slides in that. So what I suggest those of you that that missed it do is just pop onto that link. I'll update it every week. So, at the end, you've got a good history of everything that happened if you ever want to go back. But for those of you, for example, that missed last week, just go watch the replay. Then you'll have the slides and just sort of get yourself up to speed. Today won't put you too far behind. Today is quite an easy session. So you'll be in good shape. All right, cool. Melisizwe, you there? Okay, not.
Hi.
We're about to buzz you out.
I see. Working quickly. Hi, everybody. So, mine is currently something that I actually use as well, but I just tweaked it. Mine says, if I could help you maximize your tax savings while securing a comfortable retirement, including your family's financial future and taking care of life uncertainty, would you be interested?
Yeah. The only time that might differ is depending on who you're speaking to, but it's pretty clear. I think the offer makes sense. There's a lot going in there. Yeah. It works. It works. All right, good stuff. Well done. Virgil, am I being unfair on you because I know you weren't here last week either? If so, you can pass. Virgil, you there? Yeah, not sure if Virgil's with us just at the moment. I don't know. Leon.
Oh, hello everybody, and sorry I wasn't able to make it last week. Therefore, I have to find my way, and I'm looking forward to looking at the recording because I was very seriously interested in your whole offering, but unfortunately life got in between. But I hear you guys saying things like, if I could do this and that, so I think I've got the general idea. And I do like, okay, let me share with you 50 years and 10 months and a couple of days. I've been a financial advisor for one of the biggest companies in the country. And at the age of 78, I am now focusing on investments and managing investments and keeping investments out of the people's estates, so that there's no hardship at death. And so I came up with, if I could show you how to keep your investments out of your estate, would you like to talk to me? I get the general idea. That's what we're supposed to say. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. You're on the right track, and I like the way that you're thinking about it. In terms of the way that you've taken the problem as a very specific problem. I think if you watch the replay from last week, you've heard quite a lot of the feedback today that'll help you. I think you just need to expand that a little bit, right? Just to call out your market a bit more and maybe just give them a little bit of an indication of how that's going to happen and what that actually means. But you're definitely on the right track in terms of it's just well done on 50 years. Holy crap. Who spends 50 years in a profession anymore? Like, you deserve a flipping medal for that, hey? Well done on that.
I didn't even get a gold watch, man.
Oh, you get a naughty badge and a silver star from us. Well done.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Leon. Malumi, can I get back to you? I think hopefully you've had a chance to digest.
Yes, yes, yes. Apologies for last week. I was attending another event. So with my one, I've got various market segments. So what I've done at the top, I essentially just lead with I help individuals change their financial destinies. And then on my about, I then go for events. Most of your attendees are probably thinking and worried about money at some level. I just came up with this other one now where it's, where is it now? Let's address the financial elephant in the room. And then for employees, it's one of the greatest stresses of your employees are finances. This negatively affects engagement levels, decreases productivity, and increases labor attrition. Let's change their financial destiny. So ultimately, it's saying that in a world where only 5% of people can retire comfortably, everyone probably wants to change their financial destiny.
Say that. That's the message. That last bit you said exactly like that. That's what you must say. So remember, and again, so, for context, because you weren't here last week, what we're talking about is essentially the LinkedIn headline. So
I thought this is when you're messaging the 100 people.
No. We're going to get there. So that last piece is perfect. Like that hits the nail on the head. Then all the different ways, and that'll get into what's happening into the future. So not that, yeah, I think you just had a different perspective. But yeah, just that last piece. If you just take that and say that's the problem I solve. But try to watch the replay from last week. It'll make a lot of sense. You can fast forward to the bit where we just talk about the session. You don't necessarily have to watch all of it. So I'm sure you guys can. It's on YouTube anyway, so like you guys can scroll and do whatever. So if you need to just get to it, you need to just watch the piece, the teaching piece to get a bit of a sense. But yeah, this is LinkedIn headline. But that last piece was perfect. All right, cool. Non-tobacco.
Hi, James. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How's it?
I'm good. I'm good. As you know, I'm challenged. I mean, the transition that I'm having to make is hectic, I must say. But I'm trying as much as I can, to just follow through on that. And I think, like Panita was thinking about, the fact that, I have to drop the conveyancing property baby, that in coming back, this version 2, was number 1. And sort of I invested a lot of resources in just building that up. I can see how in the conversations that have been taking place with the people at this group, that it's not lost, but the sense I get is that maybe lifting governance is what I should be doing. And so in the last, few weeks, I've been building the momentum on that. And I went, I was partly in last session, so I went to the notes and what I have on that basis and what I have put down. The discomfort of being limited is there, but this is what I put down. If I could help your business eliminate your governance compliance headaches within 6 to 12 months, would you be interested?
Yeah, I think you're certainly a lot closer there. So again, when you choose that message, obviously the picking of the niche is important. So I think you've correctly identified that message and conveyancing do not go together. They're completely different. And remember, in this process, you're going to be you're going to be choosing the people that you want to speak to. Governance is not something that concerns a lot of people, so it's very specific. So if you're making that sort of statement, and at the back end, when we start getting into choosing the people and sending the messages, it's going to resonate because it's the people that you're speaking to. It was a very clear message. The only change I might make is add a little bit to it, because you've got a bit more space. If it's just your governance issues, but so what? Maybe there's more specific governance issues that cause specific types of problems. There might be an opportunity for you to address that. I don't know your space well enough to give you particular examples, but I'm sure you do.
Yeah. Okay, I'll think about it, because I think for me, the areas of comfort around the government space is coaching. I found in the several years I've sat on boards that that there's a need, a great need, for people to be coached to actually just be able to flow in what they're supposed to do. The mindset of the us and them was always a big mindset where you have to get people, the executives on the board, are just understanding that even though they come from different perspectives, that the goal is the same, and but the responsibilities and accountabilities might be slightly different. The issue of board evaluation is a big one. It's effective board evaluation, and where it's no longer just about ticking boxes and what have you. It's just people reflecting on themselves and stuff, and all of that. And there's the element of compliance. Those are the three things that in my mind, because anything outside of that, I think would be stretching myself.
Yeah. Well, try to incorporate as much of that as you can in 220 characters. But what you've got is very specific to your market. So if you send the right people there, it probably will resonate. But I think you've got an opportunity to use that message a little bit more powerfully. So try to expand it a bit, give a little bit more in terms of the benefit side of it, in terms of what you offer. And, if you can quash an objection, eliminate something that they hate, do that as well. But yeah, it's very specific to a very specific market. All right, perfect. Virgil, are you there? All right. So doesn't look like it just at the moment. Have I been through everybody? I think I have. I didn't miss anyone, did I? I didn't miss anyone that's prepared to say you missed me. All right. So let me then get into we are sharing. Okay, so let's go. Let's get back to sharing our screens and things. Hang on a second. On my other screen, I just want to see that I can see everybody there. Okay, so what we're going to speak about this week is the rest of the profile. So what I didn't really run through with you guys on the first week, which I just want to run through with you here, there's really 5 key pieces to the profile, right? And that's really what we're going to go through. So the first is the banner. We're going to talk quite a bit about that today. There's a bit more to it than that meets the eye. And you'll start to see how a lot of the stuff that we've done up until now sort of comes together, right? The second thing is actually the profile picture. So those two we'll deal with today. We've essentially dealt with now today. We went through this being the magic message, or essentially the LinkedIn headline. Then we'll get into the about section. So we'll spend a few weeks on this because this piece is probably the most important section other than your headline over here. So we'll spend some time getting that right, and then the last piece is the experience section, which is also important, but a lot of people kind of put the wrong stuff in there, so that at the end you then have this complete profile that when somebody lands on it, they go from sort of top to bottom effortlessly, and they get through, and hopefully they know exactly what it is you do, and they're prepared to reach out and start speaking to you. So what I want to do is let's talk today about this first piece, being the banner. So think about this, right? When somebody gets to the LinkedIn profile, if you actually look at this image, other than this experience section, so imagine that wasn't there. This first piece, right, is if somebody's certainly on a laptop or a computer, that's what people see. That is the first impression. So before they have to scroll or do anything, that's what they see. Now the eye can take in an enormous amount of information today. So it's literally gonna take that block and it's going to look at it in perspective, and it does all these little calculations and says, yes, I'm stuck on this profile, or no, this profile is not for me. And the first thing that that happens is it gets drawn. Eye gets drawn here to this banner. Okay, it's just natural that's going to happen. So this is an amazing piece of real estate on LinkedIn, and so we really want to get this banner right, because typically that's the first thing that people see. So they typically see the banner, then they'll go to your profile picture, then they pop over to have a look at your name, which probably doesn't mean anything at that time. And then they look at your magic message and then everything else. So those few pieces, right, make such a big impression on people. So let's talk about this banner for a second, right? That's kind of what it looks like when you get this template from LinkedIn. So there's no profile picture. That's what it looks like. That's the placeholder. And then you've got this sort of gray banner as well. Now, this is really one of the very few opportunities that LinkedIn gives us to differentiate ourselves. So definitely we want to latch onto that opportunity. As we've said, it's the first thing that people see. And for me, probably the most important thing is that I need to orientate people. Like, I've got a second, I need them to know that they're in the right place. Like, this profile is for you or it's not. And if it's not, by all means, bounce off. It's better for you to bounce away. It's better for me if you bounce away and you don't get involved in all of the other things that I want to do. Okay, so that's what it looks like. The raw materials, as it were. So when we look at creating a banner, when you think of creating a banner, there's actually two elements to it, right? There's this underlying image that you actually have, and then there's stuff that you can put on top of this image. Okay, so think of it literally as these complementary elements. So you've got these two different elements when you're building it out. And so even somebody, if you're building it out on Canva yourself, or if a designer is helping you to do that, this is the way that it's going to happen. You'll start off with an image, and then you'll decide what you want to put on top. So what you want to do with the underlying image is to try to have that image to reflect what you do. Okay, it's not rocket science if you think about it, and some images are better than others. So when you look at this picture over here, before you've even read anything else, right, that screams astronaut, right? So now you say, okay, well, let's look at Theo Proctor, PhD, very extensive over there, and as she starts to speak about SpaceX inspiration for, now you and I don't understand what that means, but if you're an astronaut, you know exactly what that means. Okay, and just in case you didn't know, the word astronaut is there. So it's very clear in terms of what she does, all right, by looking at the banner. So that's what we're trying to do here. Here's another example. Bet you'll never guess what Kimberly does. Okay, oh, she's a lead photographer at Siege Media, right? Not rocket science, because let the picture speak 1,000 words, because that's what it does. This guy, he's a little bit more interesting, a little bit eccentric, believe it or not. But if you start to look at this, right, there's a lot of JavaScript and like programming and like stuff going on there. And so you can see how he says harnessing the power of JavaScript to build a more open financial system, etc., etc. In short, having fun, right? So you can see by looking at the banner, it is somewhat reflective of what he does. Okay, he's just done it by using a tool of the trade. Similar, I suppose, to that, right? That's a tool of the trade. This is just a different tool. So people are finding like interesting ways to actually present their information. But as long as when the target market, right, that you are sending here, because remember, we picked a niche and we're going to send those very specific people to this page because it's created just for them. When they get here and they see this, like if you're a geek, like you are probably having an orgasm at this point, like what looking at this is like, oh, this is for me, right? And that's what you want. Like you and me are looking at this and saying, what the hell is that? Doesn't matter. This is not for you and me. This is for the geeks, right? So this is a great banner. Now, we spoke about having the underlying image, which is clear, but the other thing that we can do, and this guy actually he actually satisfies both criteria, is instead of having a picture, like for example, Kimberly over here, you could have something that's just a clear background, and then you could put something on top of it, right? So if you're looking at this, he's done it here. But here's another example. This is kind of more common, where you want to have something that's got a little bit of excitement in it, so it's not just a plain color. So there's a gradient or a bevel or just a little bit of interest. And good designers can do amazing things with this type of thing. So that's another option. And one of the reasons I like this sometimes is because we can compensate, if you like, or we can add to the thing that we do by adding stuff on top of the banner. So let's have a look at some of those examples. Now, the key thing that I want you guys to do, because I think this makes probably the biggest difference of everything, is put some text on the banner. if you can, right? Because if you put text on the banner, you can tell people in no uncertain terms that they are in the right place. Because remember, we got a second. They're making the decision. Am I in the right place? Yes or no? Am I staying or am I going? So let them know they're in the right place. And remember, you have chosen them specifically and you have sent them there and you have built this just for them. So this should not be hard. So we do this, right, by this little formula. The what specialist to the which industry. And basically all you're doing is you're basically saying to people, look, this is what I do, and that's who I do it for. Okay, so it can be quite broad. So this would be an example of a complementary element, right? Let's have a look at how you would translate this. So the what specialist to the which industry? Here's an example: sales training specialist to the medical profession, or tax specialist to the motor industry, right? Or lead generation specialist to financial advisors. Take your pick. There's a million and one things. So again, each of you just say, well, this is what I do. That's who I do it for, just so that they know. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a couple of other examples. So here's my example, right? So again, I'm bringing the problem in, right? So and so this is what specialist to the which industry, right? So client generation specialist. So that's what I do. Who do I do it for? Now I'm bringing my niche in. So you see how the stuff that we did in the last two sessions is all starting to come together here. So you don't have to go reinvent the wheel for today's exercise, right? This is the good part. You just got to get it done. So here I'm talking about the problem and the niche, right? So that's what I do. That's who I do it for. Nice simple example. Now here's a couple of other ideas for you, and just choose what you think is right for you. You can literally go to town and you can play and have a lot of fun with this. As long as I would say try to at least have this piece here, like where you can actually just let people know that they're in the right place, right? So here's a couple of other things. You can have a company logo, which you should do, right? A call to action, which could be anything that you want them to do. Some of you might want somebody to phone you. Some of you might want them to go to your YouTube channel. Some of you might want them to register for something, download something. Most of you probably just want them to talk to you. Hey, book an appointment. Here's my calendar, right? Or go to my website. Whatever it is, you can actually put that on your banner if you want to. Contact details. It's not my favorite one. And your industry kind of needs to lend itself to this before you do this. Not my favorite one, but for some of you, it might make sense. And then, of course, other images, right? So if we go back to this idea, right, where you've got a base image, and then you add other stuff on top. So if you look at mine, just to show you, basically, I've got this. This is what my background normally looks like. This used to be a blueprint, and then I changed branding, and now it's a gray print, and so it's stuck, right? So it's not the most exciting thing you've ever seen, but that's what it is, right? It's me just using what I'm used to, and you can see there's a little bit of a gradient on it, and then I've just stuck stuff on top of it, right? So over here is a little indication that I have a system that I use. Here's a copy of my best-selling book. Here I'm calling out people, and here's my logo. Okay, so you see, you can take any of these elements that we spoke about, these things, right? And you can start to stack them. All that you need is for somebody to get there and to say, yeah, boom, I get it. The eye takes it in, says I'm in the right place. And now you have the opportunity to do some other things. So let me show you how some of the more renowned folk do this. So our good friend Seth Godin, who's authored, I don't know how many books, he's done this in a really, really cool way. He's just shown you all his books, right? So if you look at each book has got a title, and guess what that is? That's the problem that he's solving. Each book solves the problem, and he's already put that in the title. So he's been really clever, and he's basically showing you authority. Listen, dude, I've published so many books, you should listen to me. Like, you can't argue with that, right? This is a really, really good banner, a really clever way to do it, okay? So you can see he's put like lots of little messages on here by virtue of using his book. Laurent over here, he tells you exactly, hey, I'm a real estate broker and investment expert. It's like there's no confusion. He's got an interesting banner, right? Some interesting elements and things going on. There's a little bit of property, so he's showing you. He's obviously going high end because he's got a suit and tie on, right? So he's giving that impression even in his profile pic, which we'll talk about just now. And in his world, he's looking at this and saying, dude, if you want this real estate broker, I'm your guy, just phone me. Like in his world, he's obviously worked out that this is a good thing. So this would be an example where maybe it makes sense to have a phone number, right? As opposed to something else. All right, you need real estate, phone me. Let's do it. Okay. So there's a good example. And again, he's calling out his niche, real estate broker. And what's the problem he's solving? He's an investment expert. Okay. Neil Patel, he's one of the more well-known marketers. He calls out the problem in no uncertain terms. One, more traffic. Okay, that's to your website. It's the problem, and then he says, okay, well, here's all the ways I can do it. Okay, it's like very obvious what he's doing with his banner. Austin Belchek over here, he also is very obvious. So he comes out and he actually asks the question, right? We've spoken about that, the open route. Are you ready to land your dream job without applying online, right? So he knows that that's a big pain point for people. If you ever try to get a job, you'll know what a pain in the behind it is to put CVs in and wait. He's saying, listen, skip all that crap. I've got a system for you. Let's do it. And then now he says, yeah, hey, hit the link below to learn more about how we help people like you land amazing jobs. So what he's done is he's called out the problem, right? So that's a little bit like he's what specialist to the which industry, right? Because you know what he's doing, and the industry is doing it for our job seekers. Like, he didn't have to say that, but obvious in terms of the message. And then he's saying, hey, if you want to find out how, go here, right? Great message. No confusion, and you know exactly what he wants you to do. So hopefully these examples are really giving you a whole lot of inspiration, in terms of getting this all done. So there's a few ways to do this. The first way is to outsource it. If this would probably be my last option, to be honest. So you outsource it to one of these sites like an Upwork or a Fiverr. If you're a do-it-yourself kind of person, you can go to Canva. But what I suggest you do is speak to Leslie. Sorry, Christelle. Sorry about that. Christelle says that she can handle all of this for you. So I want you guys to all, if you don't want to do it yourself, etc., and you're prepared to pay a little bit for it, I promise you it's worth it. If you are graphically challenged, like, you should outsource this without even thinking about it. Okay. Even if you think Canva is a good idea, it's not always, because if you follow the rest of these rules, like this idea of picking the right image, for example, this sort of thing, to find the right image that's in the right color for your brand, and then to be able to have a space to reflect like the text that you want to have on it. I promise you that is a skill set. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And so even if you go into Canva, you might not find the best images and things. So Christelle's your lady. I suggest you chat to her if you don't want to go through any of this other nonsense. So Christelle, can you put your details in the chat, just so that everybody's got it? If you do that now, then if any of you actually need help with this, just let her do that. So the homework for today is actually quite simple, really, as far as this is concerned. I just want you to think about this, because you actually have all of the information already. So the first thing is, what image are you going to use? Okay, so are you going to use an image like in A, or are you going to use a background? Or you're just going to say to Christelle, Jay, just make this thing happen. Okay, that would be my preferred option. But if you're going to do it yourself, you've got to choose one of these, right? So just write down. You need to do your own brainstorming. That's what you're going to do. And again, if you prefer the plain colored background, think about corporate colors, fonts, logos, all of that sort of thing, right? So again, which one of these are you going to do? That's really all you have to think about. And then who's going to create it for you? Right? How are you going to do it? Are you doing it yourself, or are you giving it to Christelle? All right? Very, very simple, just to think about that. But you've got all the elements, and so don't just throw a shitty little banner together. Think about it, guys. This banner, I promise you, does a lot more for you than you think. Okay, so this last piece is think about the elements that you want to put onto it, right? So the first thing, obviously, is let them know they're in the right place, with the what specialist to the which industry. And guys, you don't have to write it exactly in that formula. If there's another way you want to say it your way. Like, I'm giving you a framework, but like, just let people know. If you want to say it differently to that because you think that's staid or dull or boring, awesome, do that. but just don't confuse people. Just let them know they're in the right place. And then, is there anything else you want to put on it, like a company logo, a call to action, contact details, or anything else, other images? Just so your job is to brainstorm and then to speak to Christelle and let her do it for you, or hack through this yourself. I promise you from personal experience, unless you're a creative person, seriously, outsource this. Just saying, my best advice. Okay, so we're not going to have time for an internal session today, just looking at time. So let me just finish up here. I just want to deal with this last piece quickly, and then I'll just open the floor for a couple of questions before we close. So the last thing that I want to talk about today is your profile picture, right? And this is actually more important than you think. It's one of those things, like if you've got a crummy profile picture, it's not good, then people judge you. So you just want to have a good picture. So it's like if you don't have a good picture, then it hurts you. If you have a good picture, well, it's just like expected. But have a good picture, please. So talking about that, there are things to avoid in your picture. That thing for one, right? When you see that, you know, like, hey, most, not always, to be fair, some people for some strange reason will not have an image, but for most of us, it's a much better idea to actually have a profile picture. A lot of people do this type of thing, right? Where they'll take either a group picture, or maybe there's something where they've just got married, or they've had a kid, or they've got a new pet or something, and they think this is a clever idea. Should you share this on LinkedIn? Yeah, but not here. Okay. This thing here is your window to the world. You got to think about all the places that people see this. Like, are there going to be some places people cannot see that? They don't know who the person is. They can't see your facial expression. This is not a good idea for this particular image. Okay. You just want to make it very clear. Like all this, like who the hell are these people? Like this guy was obviously on the cover of this magazine, I suppose, leadership. But so what? I don't know who he is. This guy's a business card, even worse. That guy, no words even for that picture. I have no idea what that is, right? Terrible. This guy here, he's cut off his head. Like, no, like let us see all of you. Don't do this, right? You must use all the real estate. Don't cut your head off. And then this poor oak, he's probably spent a lot of money on photographer to get that done. But we can't see him. And look how crap this is. He's left all this shit in the background here. Like, that's awful. Right? So he's wasted himself. But the point here is like, you can't see. This is not meant to be a full body, like a head, right? So you want to get as much of your head in so people can see your smile and your facial expression as possible. And then all these oaks, like that's awful, that lighting behind. Can't see him, right? This is wrong for so many reasons. And again, like, these are terrible pictures. We can't make out who those people are, right? So you don't want to do any of these things, clearly. What do you want to do, right? You want to have a recent headshot, if you can. So it's not a good look when people say to you, not quite what I expected from your LinkedIn profile, and you know you've got it wrong. So recent headshot is a good idea. And what is key is that it's got to authentically echo who you are, right? So don't try and create something that you're not. Just be who you are. And a lot of that comes down to dress. So I want you to think about when you speak to clients regularly, how do you dress? Okay? What does that look like? And if you dress in a suit and tie, then you must wear a suit and tie in your picture. If you're an athlete, you can be in a tracksuit. That's perfectly acceptable, but not a scruffy one, you know, a nice tracksuit. So just be authentic, dress appropriately as far as that's concerned. My best advice to you is, if you can, take this professionally. Like, it's not as important as it used to be, because today our cameras can take amazing pictures, but it's a good idea if you can, and I'll tell you why. Because photographers, they know stuff we don't know. There's a reason that they're professionals in that space. So they tend to get us to be in the right positions and the right poses, and they get the lighting right. So pictures that are generally taken by photographers are much better than ones that are not. So if you can, my advice is do it. If you can't, then at least have a really good photograph taken by someone with a really good phone. Have a clear background. So if you ignore all this nonsense on the right hand side and you look at the left hand side, right, it's against the white background. So It's a clear background. Doesn't matter what color it is. You typically don't want it fighting. So if you look at my current picture, I've got rid of this now, and it's just a clear background behind, so that you want you want the face not to be distracted by leaves and parties and all sorts of other crap that's going on behind you. Just have it nice and clear so that people can see what's going on. Pick up all the real estate. So in other words, this full circle, right? You want to take up as much as you can. And that's what I said. It tends to generally then be a headshot, right? And for goodness sake, smile. You guys will see, because your turn is going to come when you're going to start looking at profiles and you're going to decide whether you want to connect with people. And then you will see all these things I told you not to do. You will see copious examples of all of them, and you will snigger to yourself and say, no, I'm not connecting with them. But yeah, this is really important. So if you can have, literally, if you think about it, everything I've said to you is just have nice, relaxed photograph with yourself smiling against a clear background, and you're going to find yourself in a really, really good space. And I think that is pretty much that. Here's kind of the homework. I've just summarized all of that for you. You just got to get the right photo. If you don't have one, get one. Fine. It's really as simple as that. So that being said, I now have about 2 minutes before my next meeting. So are there any questions in closing that you guys want to run through in the next 2 minutes? All right. Christelle, did you pop your deets in? Right.
I did. Thank
Did
you.
everybody get Christelle's details there? So for those of you that are graphically challenged, jump on that. It's definitely going to help you tremendously. Christelle, I think you might be busy.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, good stuff. All right, guys. Listen, I've got to tell you, like, you guys did an amazing effort today. I've done this exercise with a lot of people, and like, this is probably the best group I've done it in terms of the result that's come out. You guys really gave it a good thought, and everybody gave it a good effort. Hopefully we gave a little bit of constructive criticism that all of you can use, but yeah, just keep doing it, man. So sort this out, and we will see you guys all next week.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Very cool. All right,
Sorry,
guys.
James.
Okay.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks,
Bye.
James.
Yeah, Louis?
Sorry, James.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So my question is, given the space where you have these awards like Mail and Guardian and all of these other awards, what are your thoughts on having that in your headline?
You can. My thoughts are fine. I would put them on your banner though. Like, put them, all the awards like with logos and stuff, like dotted across the bottom of the banner or somewhere, because that's more visual. Let people see it. Like, you don't have to say, let them just see it. Picture says 1,000 words. That's what I would do.
Okay, thank you.
Like, much like Seth Godin did with his books, that kind of idea. All right. Guys, I got to run. I literally have a meeting in 3 minutes. It's a new client, so best I not be late. All right. Thanks. We'll see you guys all next week. All right.
Bye.
Cheers
Bye,
then.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.